It is now quite late at night. The beds in the room that you're in are quite small. You suspect they've probably been designed for smaller travellers such as dwarves and indeed halflings.
Can it be assumed we have now rested?
Well, to assume makes an ass of you and me, James, because later that night you hear some muffled voices which wake you from your sleep. It's actually just the gnome that wakes up from this.
Okay.
You can hear them talking quite loudly next door. If you want, you can try and listen in, or
Yeah,
you
I'll
could
try
just
and listen.
Okay, roll a perception check. You hear a couple of voices, quite animated. You definitely hear one of them say something along the lines of, "I agree. It wouldn't be hard for us if Varric finds out that we gave the bodies to him. The half-orcs will have left them where they found them."
Okay.
Wellby is snoozing away just a few feet from you.
Pretty crap burglar, aren't I?
I'm just going to go back to sleep.
Okay.
You've murdered us all.
Several hours pass. Yep, you are fully rested and it is now morning.
Well, we've got options. We could go and see if there's anything to be learned from the wagon works that issued the receipt to the travellers on the road. We could go and immediately see about our charge, the dwarf who we're looking for.
The local, police or guards dealing with the whole wagon thing. So I think our priority should be locating the dwarf.
All right. And we should check the inn that the captain is staying at, because that's where the northern delegation should be. However, I need to do something about all the extra weapons I'm carrying, because they're weighing me down. I would like to use my criminal contact, which is a feature that I have.
You remember that when you're in Waterdeep, one of your criminal contacts did mention about moving to Red Larch. Malandro Gaelker used to deal in very shady items with no questions asked. You also know that he used to run a bit of a counterfeiting business back in Waterdeep and got into trouble, and that's kind of why you moved on. Prior to your involvement in the Harpers, you did quite a lot of business together.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, as you've never actually been to Red Larch, you don't exactly know whereabouts in the town he is.
Mm-hmm. And what does he look like?
He's a relatively young man in his 30s. That's young. I'm insisting that's young. And he had quite long hair, not bad looking, quite very popular with the ladies.
All right. What say you, Talyn? Should we seek out my contact first?
I'm fine for you to look at your dodgy mates.
See, a few of the travellers have got up themselves and are just loitering around. Mother Elantri goes, "Good morning. I trust you slept well."
Good morning.
Well, there was a bit of noise next door, but other than that, not too bad.
We've been very busy lately, and unfortunately some of the walls are a little bit thin. I've had to make more rooms with the walls.
Noise, Talyn. This is the first I've heard of it.
I don't know, I was quite tired and grumpy. Something about half orcs and bodies, I don't know.
That aside, Mother Yolanthe, have you heard of a man by the name of Malandro Gaelker in town?
Oh, of course, everyone knows Gaelker. He's the barber.
Where
And
might I find him?
she indicates to the east of Red Larch from where you are now. Basically across the road and just walk east.
Do we not want to talk to any of the others, Talyn, about the noises you've...
No.
I do enjoy travelling with this happy-go-lucky man.
Okay, so
He's an old friend of mine, Talyn. Let me do the talking, I say as I walk up to the door and knock on it.
after a short while, a little eye opening slides open from the door, and you see two eyes look around and then eventually look down and notice you, and the door swings open. He runs forward and goes, "Wellby, I knew that was you. It is so good to see you, my friend."
You too, my friend, I say as I enter the building.
And he runs forward and picks you up and spins you around. Look at how big you've got! After all these years, you have been eating! How can I help you? What brings you to Red Larch, my friend?
I'll give Talyn a wink to suggest that we not tell this guy everything. He's a friend of mine, but he's still a criminal.
You've not told me this yet.
Well, this seedy wooden building seems to be a bit of a used tools and goods shop. See boxes stacked up in the corner, and inside is a shop full of lounging customers, most of them men in no particular hurry to be waited on, with old hair clippings trodden underfoot on the sagging floorboard. You notice that all the men, including the man who seems to be currently getting a bit of a trim, have various kind of bottles of ale in their hands and are drinking.
Mm-hmm.
which is probably quite an odd custom to have in a barber's.
In the morning.
Yep.
I've got some spoils I need to fence.
Aha, you have something good for me, I hope. Ho, 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 ho.
I have 3 short swords, 1 long sword, and 1 heavy crossbow.
There's not so much need for weapons in this town. It is generally quite peaceful. But I can give you 50 gold pieces for the lot.
You never change. All those times we worked together. I know when I'm at a disadvantage. I'll take the 50 gold.
He goes over and disappears to the door on the right-hand side of the room, and is gone for a few minutes. Eventually he comes back with a small pouch and says, well, it was a pleasure doing business with you after all these years.
Perhaps your friend has seen who we're looking for. He seems like a knowledgeable man.
Perhaps we should speak in a more private environment. Why don't you follow me? Come this way. He heads to the door and beckons you to come.
Alright, I follow him and...
Eventually he leads you round to another room.
You have company.
Indeed, you haven't changed, my friend.
Don't mind, this is just Marie, she's just sleeping. The woman lifts up, clearly not asleep, and says, "My name's Sarantha." Melandra goes, "Oh, so sorry. Both are beautiful names. Would you mind, please, perhaps going for a walk, just for a minute while I entertain my friends?" The woman picks up her robe and walks out.
Now that we're alone, my friend, we've come seeking information on a delegation that's come from the north. Have you heard anything?
Yes, I did overhear that there was a delegation of people visiting religious sites and other sites in the area. You see, nothing really gets past Melandro Gelka. Did you know, in fact, that right here in Red Larch you have one of your fellow Harpers?
No, didn't know that.
Is this information going to come for free, my friend?
I'm just trying to help out my friend. Besides, the more adventures and scrapes you get into, the more I get this wonderful weaponry and equipment that you keep bringing back.
Whatever tat I've picked up. I'm glad we understand each other, old friend.
It is only through our business that I managed to make my way up to Red Larch in the first place. I would have been a dead man in some cell, rotting in some dungeon in Waterdeep, had it not been for my coin.
If not for the kindness of others, I fear I might have joined you, my friend.
Anyway, you might want to visit Valivo's Sundries, a shop on the south of town. It has all kinds of oddities, and the owner, Mr. Valivo, he may be a Harper. At least that's what my sources tell me.
Then thank you, my friend, and farewell. You can return to your lovely lady and your paying customers.
Thank you.
Drinking in the morning.
Let's go to find our friend, the fellow Harper.
Okay. You head south. Eventually you come to the outside of a shop. A small faded sign on the front door reads Valivo's Sundries. The door is shut.
Right, I'll approach the
Let's
door.
go in.
This looks like an interesting little shop. The room seems to be crammed to the rafters with new wares and new items of all sorts. In front you see a man probably around in his 50s. Hello there, can I help you?
Hello, sir. Would you be owner of the shop, Mr. Believer?
Yes, I am. Endrith Valivo at your service. Welcome to my little shop of oddities. Are you after something in particular, or just here to browse?
I'd just like to browse for now, I think.
In the shop, you can see little children milling about, carrying little bits of items and so on. He turns to them, then turns back to you and goes, "Oh, they're just my little helpers." And they go, "Oh, no offence to you too, of course."
I've heard them all, sir. My friend and I are here on Harper business.
Are you Harpers?
Both of us, yes.
I work for the Harpers myself, in fact. Well, perhaps not as such as an active role as yourselves, but I've long assisted Harper agents passing through. Plus, I know a few contacts in Tribal personally. How can I help a fellow Harper?
My companion and I have been sent here looking for a shield dwarf historian, the name Roldenfar. He was to arrive in Waterdeep over a 10-day ago now. He's been part of a large delegation of mixed travellers from Mirabar, who should have arrived in town by now. Have you heard anything?
I'm afraid I have not. No, I was unaware of any delegation. But why was I not told? Why do the Waterdeep Harpers never tell me anything these days?
As far as
They
I
probably
know.
wanted to keep it a bit hush-hush.
Don't worry about my young helpers. they can be trusted.
That is good to know.
I'm like a father to them.
Thanks for sharing. Do the children look worried in any way?
They look quite grubby, but they're reasonably well fed.
Are they like the stabby children at the end of the last season of Game of Thrones?
Well, you'll have to see. It's whether this guy has a reanimated mountain in the back as well that you need to be worried about.
My friend has been conversing with letters with Brodenthal. We'd very much like to know of his welfare.
I haven't heard anything, but I will keep a lookout at least. Why was he travelling to Waterdeep?
He's transporting a collection of manuscripts,
I see.
and our organisation doesn't want the sage or his books to fall into the wrong hands.
Of course, I value books very highly myself, as you can see. And he points away to a big shelf of books, and also different books scattered about, boxes half open with books. I'm a bit of an avid reader. I'm always buying and picking up books.
I'm sorry there could not be more of us, my friend, but with our numbers so thin in Waterdeep, we were the only two that could be spared.
Do you know if there's anywhere else we could go that might have people that would know?
One of my helpers did tell me that this morning he overheard a couple of gentlemen near the quarry mentioning something about a cave that had been cleared out. So there was some sort of altercation at some point, I guess, in said cave. Perhaps your delegation could be there.
That's worth looking into. Thank you for your help.
Any time, my friends.
Indeed.
If you're thinking you might get into trouble, then perhaps a couple of these might come in handy. And he slams down a couple of potions on the table. These are potions of healing. Very handy when you come unstuck. Fortunately, I've never had to use one myself, but I'm assured of their potency.
Pray, sir, they would be invaluable. How much can we pay you for them?
As your fellow Harpers, I can give you these two for free, and I suppose I won't need them, and you are Harpers, so I've got 3 more, 25 gold pieces each.
We can buy a couple more with my money from fencing.
So how many do we get each?
2.
2 each.
Just one last thing I'll say to Valavo. These friends in Tribor to the north, could you get a message to them and give them our description so that they'll, if they see us, if we have to go there, if they see us coming, maybe inclined to seek us out and help us.
Of course, I can arrange that as soon as possible.
Thank you once again, my friend. Now we'll go in search of our charge. Let's go and find us a dwarf.
So you just head north back up the road. Okay, you open the doors to the Swinging Sword Inn and walk inside. A one-eyed man, not the captain, grunts at you as you enter. Then
Back to him.
Then walks past you and outside, and ahead you see a door. You hear noise coming from it. It has a sign above it saying lounge.
Let's check the lounge.
Okay, you open the door to the room, and inside you can see many patrons, and you immediately recognize the captain at the bar at the back. No one else in here is anyone that you recognize.
Alright, go and see our
Go sit
friend.
with the captain.
Take a seat.
He notices you. Morning, my small friends. How fared your rest in a real bed for a change?
Morning, good captain. I slept the whole night through, and I was glad of it.
I mostly did.
He nods and says, "That's good. I'm afraid I have some quite troubling news. I spoke to the owner of the tavern," and he points towards the lady behind the bar, "regarding the Mirabar delegation. It appears only a handful were set to stay in Red Larch. The rest were set to continue travelling south to Waterdeep. My dwarven friend was part of the group that was meant to stay in Red Larch. Worryingly, he never arrived in Red Larch, and that makes him 15 days late. No sign of my crew either. Perhaps their disappearance and the disappearance of our dwarven friends and the Mirabar delegation is all connected somehow."
I think you could be right.
Brodenthal was 10 days missing when we left for this town.
There is also some talk in town of some kind of ogre that has been spotted around the outskirts of town a couple of 10 days ago. It could be nothing, but there's a chance it has something to do with their disappearance. If I can track this beast down, I may be able to question it for information.
Captain, we have also heard a troubling rumour about a quarry on the outskirts of town. There's a cave that has been cleared after some sort of altercation, we think.
In this bar last night, I overheard some travellers discussing clearing out some kind of nearby cave. 2 large halfle. One of them appeared to be some kind of knight. The owner, Kaelessa, she paid them to clear the cave. It's over quite outside of town, a place called Lance Rock. It seems she believes that it had been the source of all the recent troubles that had started to plague Red Larch.
Who was it that cleared the cave out, do you know?
2 large half-orcs, a human and a half-elf. How did you learn of it?
From the weird shop owner round the corner.
Valiver is his name. He owns a sundry shop at the south of town.
Perhaps it is worth investigating this Lance Rock. Even if it has been cleared, we may have clues as to whether or not our delegation was located there. So, as far as he understands it, he says that, and he calls Kaelessa over, who seems quite helpful, and she says, "Oh yes, Lance Rock is over to the southwest, up slightly on a hill. You can't miss it because the surrounding area is so flat. Oh, and the brave half-orc that cleared it out and his men, they were here this morning, but they've now left."
Do you know where they went?
She says, "I haven't got a clue, but hopefully now they've done that, it should be the end of all of Red Larch's troubles. That's what I'm hoping anyway. All these dark omens, bad weather, crops dying, will hopefully all be a thing of the past."
Were these people paid a lot of money for what they did?
I gave them a modest sum.
And are they locals?
Oh no, they're from the south, near to Waterdeep, I believe.
Well, I'm ready to head out if you two are.
What say you, Captain? Did we head to the Lance Rock?
He says, well, given that it sounds like this Lance Rock has been cleared out already, it might make more sense if I use this time to track this ogre. Perhaps we will work more efficiently separately.
Yeah, okay.
The sightings have all been around the outskirts of town, so I will not venture too far into the wilderness. I'm hoping that the ogre may come to me.
Pray you keep safe, Captain.
Don't worry about me. I've fought far more dangerous foes than some dumb ogre.
Famous last words.
And if I can kill it without losing another body part, then that will be a bonus.
Well, we hope to see you in a few days then. And I reach my hand out to shake his hand and then awkwardly realise that I put my wrong hand out and it's his hook hand he has to shake hands with.
He goes along with it and gives it a slight shake and then laughs to himself.
I will lean over and clap him on the shoulder and then turn and follow Talyn out.
He says, "Good luck, my friends. I think you'll be fine. If I don't hear from you, I will come back, but a couple of dumb half-orcs can clear out the cave, then I'm sure you'll be fine."
Farewell, Captain.
Fortunately, there are no half-orcs currently in the inn.
So, let's head out of town and towards the rock.
That is where you are headed.
Mhm.
A mile or so outside the town, cultivated areas give way to unspoiled wilderness. Miles of hills, woods and grassland stretch as far as the eye can see, filled with plentiful wildlife. 7 miles to travel. Around about mid-afternoon, you come close. You've been able to see it for quite some time. It's a prominent landmark, a slender stone monolith that juts out of the plains just a few miles west of the long road. You guess that it's about 25 feet high, but the land nearby is so flat and open that you've been able to see it for the last few miles. As you get very close to it, a few hundred feet south of the stone you're travelling through, there's a ravine choked with brush. Trail leads into the brush near a neatly painted sign that reads in common, "Come no closer, lest you catch the disfiguring plague that afflicts me, the Lord of Lance Rock." And the trail continues down towards the cave mouth. You can see another sign in the distance near the cave mouth.
Well, we've come this far. I'm not turning back now.
It's only 7 miles, Jim. Jesus.
But I've got small legs.
My
That's
legs
true.
are smaller.
Nothing bad is going to happen.
The cave mouth opens into darkness from which a breeze blows, carrying the faint odour of death, and a sign saying exactly the same as the one before says, "Come no closer, lest you catch the disfiguring plague that afflicts me, the Lord of Lance Rock."
I read this sign and with a worried expression turn to Talyn and with his trusting in his greater knowledge and ask her, "Is there such a plague?"
No, it's just here to scare us off.
I'll defer to your greater experience, my friend, but I'm a bit superstitious about these things.
Maybe not.
There we go. Some wine will keep the plague away. I'll say
We're
to
going
my
to,
friend,
practically speaking, we're going to have to be able to see where we're going. So I'm going to pick up a nearby branch and use my light spell on it.
I'll move ahead of Talyn to keep my ears open and shield him from danger. Okay, as I move forward into the cave, is there any sound coming from the cave at all?
There's no sun. There's a slight breeze blowing. As I said, that carries the faint odour of death. And inside, as you walk in, its floor and ceiling is uneven. The passage leads to the west.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, as I can't hear anything, I think I'll strike up a torch as well.
I will follow where you go.
Alright.
Okay, You
I can just about see something.
You spot a corpse of a human male sprawled here. It
Ah.
looks quite badly mashed up from different weapon blows. You can't really tell from this distance.
Right. I'll approach the corpse and I'll call Talyn over and ask him what in his opinion does he think happened to this man.
Okay, it'll be
I think he was killed.
Can you use an investigate check?
Yeah.
Ooh, I'm dim-witted.
Okay, the halfling can see weapon wounds. He just looks very mashed up. The gnome, however, says that it looks as if there were several wounds to the body, but then it looks like there's been a concentrated attack on the head of the victim, and the brains are smashed about.
Can we do a search of his possessions?
Yep.
That sounds like the kind of thing I'd do.
I meant more for like identification rather than looting a corpse.
Wow.
Roll a perception check. As you start to search, you can't really see anything but his leather breeches.
We're both blind.
All you see is his leather breeches, unfortunately.
I assume we can continue down the cave.
I'll move a bit further down.
Okay, you see another body. That one is actually completely decapitated.
Does it look like a clean cut or a tear?
It looks like a clean cut, like it's just a straight edge. You start to hear a noise coming from the north, like something crawling, pitter-patter noises.
I'll gesture for Talyn to step back and try and get behind me or get behind that rock.
Okay, I'll get behind the rock.
Okay, as you do that, you see a big pile of rats scuttling straight towards the two of you, and you need to roll for initiative. Talyn, it is your turn.
I can see the rats, can I? Just about?
You can.
Roughly how many are there? I think it's a swarm of rats.
You would guess that there are at least 20, if not more.
Ray of Frost then? Okay.
As you point your staff forward and the blast comes out, it blasts and seems to get several of the rats. You can roll for damage.
Nice. The speed would be reduced by 10 as well, if that would make any difference whatsoever.
Several of the rats kind of die and seem to be turned into little popsicles. The swarm of rats turn. They will essentially dash. They get right up to Wellby, crawling all around him. But as they do, Wellby has the chance to make an opportunity attack with his weapon.
I'll make an attack with my short sword.
That is going to be a hit. You swing through several of the rats.
Okay.
Oh, nice. The majority of the rats are now dead. Your sword, as it swings around, it catches several of them and they go flying over towards the wall, blood splattering around as it does. However, they are now upon you, but it is now actually your turn.
Alright, take another swing at them with my short sword.
Okay. Oh, critical hit.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
You swipe through the last several rats and you look around and realise that you've killed all of them.
Alright, are we out of combat then?
Yeah, we're out of combat.
Yay, we can survive rats.
Now you're in this little opening of the cave, you get a chance to examine your surroundings. A flat boulder sits in the centre of the cave. You can see that it's very much coated in dried blood.
I asked Talyn, what on earth do you think happened there?
Certainly nothing good.
Also, around where Wellby is, there's lots of rocks and splinters of wood around there as well. And as you look up, you see a bit of a ledge right near the entrance to where you came from here.
Can I take a look at the dead body at my feet
Yep.
with that investigation roll?
Okay, you can see that its head has been cleaved from its body. It also has several other wounds on the body, stabbing wounds. You can see a splatter of blood. It leads round behind the rock, and you can see the head of the unfortunate soul around that rock.
I'll make an aside to Talyn, rather them than me. Move on to the next one, I guess.
Yeah, I say we go in the direction the rats came from.
That doesn't seem safe, my friend.
They're only rats.
Okay, can I take a brief look at the other corpse? Oh, gone
Yeah.
blind again.
On this one, you just see that the head has been mashed in. There's other wounds on the body. As Talyn walks around, he comes across the head as well that's around the rock. He notices that there's a wound straight on the centre of the head.
Alright, stay behind me, my friend. I will enter the tunnel to the north.
Tunnel of love.
Tunnel of rats.
Yeah.
Tunnel of death.
Move forward a bit more. I can't see anything on the map yet.
Around here, you can see bits of bone and flesh and blood.
I'll gesture to Talyn to be careful and be quiet while I sneak forward a little bit.
You try and be as nimble as possible and you proceed forward. This opens up into what appears to be some kind of dead end. However, what catches your eye is that there are at least 5 corpses in this room, partially decomposed, bits of bone around them. Again, the heads are mashed up. In addition to that, there's so many bones around, you suspect there are completely decomposed skeletons in here as well. An investigation check would be a good idea. The halfling Wellby, he estimates that there are probably 10 or so corpses in here of various states of decay. The bones scattered about. There's a few rusted short swords on the floor. As Talyn looks it over, he thinks there's probably 12 corpses in here, 5 which have flesh on them. The rest are completely rotted away. There's evidence of weapon marks on the bones.
I'll whisper to Talyn, what do you suppose happened here?
I don't know. I don't know what they would have been fighting over. And I don't know if this is the remnants of the people that were sent to clear it out, or were those people lying and they never went here? I don't know. Is this a dead end, this part of the cave?
You can't see any other exits here.
I'll lead us out then, back into the main chamber, allowed to.
Maybe this next place will be a happy place.
This narrow passage is about 10 feet high in most places, with rough irregular walls.
I'll confide to Talyn that I don't like places like this as I edge forward.
You realise that you can see 2 bodies. It looks like the body of a woman in some sort of frilly dress, and behind her you can see almost like a harlequin's outfit on the individual behind her.
I'll once again gesture to Talyn to stay back as I sneak forward.
The lady in the frilly dress, as you get closer, the build of the woman seems quite large, and you're not sure it could even be a man. You can confirm that the second body is dressed up like a harlequin, like a clown. Further to that, you see a third body further into the cave that looks like a badly burned bear. However, it's quickly apparent that it's some kind of costume that the body was wearing, and it's been burnt off. You can see that there's definitely a human inside it.
I'll whisper to Talyn, these look like actors, as I walk further into the cave. What do you think, Talyn?
I think that I'm dreaming and we never left that inn.
As the gnome steps over the lady in the frilly dress, he realises that it is indeed a quite decomposed man dressed up in a frilly dress wearing a wig.
Mrs. Doubtfire.
The lady in the frilly dress has a big wound in her head. The clown also looks like it's had its head hacked at, and the man dressed as a bear appears to be all smouldered away and badly burned.
To search them for any kind of notes or possessions. Let's go for the fully dressed corpse.
Okay, you walk over to the frilly dressed woman, and you can roll a perception check to search her body, his body. The gnome runs his hands through the frilly dress, but doesn't really just
tactfully,
seems like
with
this.
respect.
Of course, it really just feels like this poor individual was merely wearing a frilly dress and nothing else. There's nothing in any side pockets or anything like that.
Can I take a close look at the bear?
You can. You step forward and start to examine the bear creature. As you do, you look at its burnt arm. It suddenly grabs hold of your arm, and you can roll for initiative, but you will both be surprised on the first round.
Maybe he just wants to talk to us.
Unlikely.
The creature stands up as it grabs you, and as it does, it goes to punch the small halfling in the face. But it appears that the halfling, despite being surprised, instinctively ducks out the way of the blow. It essentially is its turn again, I guess, so it will go to attack you again. In the meantime, it's going and tries to thud you again. So it swings again, and again the halfling dodges back. It is now Talyn's turn.
Okay, I'm going to Ray of Frost.
Okay, you blast the said creature, and it gets a thud of an icy blast. As it does, it stops for a minute. It goes. It still seems alive.
Stay here.
Okay, assuming that's your turn done, which leaves it to Wellby.
Can you get some short sword action on this?
Language Wellby.
Crit.
I've been attacked by a zombie. That's got 2d6 plus 4. Ooh.
Oh, snake eyes. It's the second time we've done that, I think. You do a deft strike into the creature, and it as it gets hit by the blade. You've got your torch in the other hand. You could try swiping at it with the torch.
Yeah, I'll swipe at it with the torch.
Okay.
Flippin' heck. I'm on a roll, apart from the damage.
Okay, so it's 1 damage.
1.
So in addition to having stabbed it, you swipe your torch, which seems to annoy it quite badly as you hit it over the head with it. The creature, it seems relentless in trying to attack you. It aims down and tries to slam you again with its arms. It appears to miss. It's Talyn's turn.
I am going to cast Witch's Bolt, so I'm going to roll to see if it hits first.
That is a hit.
It's like a continuous beam of electricity,
Okay.
and once it hits, I don't have to roll next turn. It just 1d12 every turn,
Right,
as long as I don't move.
The beam comes out and crackles into it, and it seems very annoying. Don't let him kill me! Save me, Wellby!
Anakin! No!
It is Wellby's turn.
Time for a bit more short sword action. Ooh.
You lazily swipe your sword into it, but it does appear to hit, so you can roll damage. So that was 5 damage. You stab into it. It looks like it's about to fall over, but then it goes. Still stands up.
Hit it with my torch attack, so I'll roll for the short sword again.
Okay, it's a hit, so roll the d4. Okay, so you hit it, it looks like it's going down again. As the attack hits its head, the head bursts, it goes, and you see it slumps into a heap on the floor.
Alright, are we out of combat?
Yes, we are.
Alright, I'll back up to where Talyn is and exclaim, "Blast me, he was dead! I swear he was dead!"
Yes, not dead enough.